Oh, there, we're on the air. It's another curling night tonight. There's no whistle blowing, but we have curling going as the stone goes down the ice. And those are modified words from Stompin' Tom Collins, but happy to evoke them as we start the latest draw in our 7-draw MoPac mixed team playdowns here from the Southern California Curling Center. We are seeing a matchup between Team Stefani from the Wine Country Curling Club and Team Maxie. The skip hails from Coyotes, but the players come from some other teams throughout the region and a little beyond. We'll meet the players as we go along, but right now we are watching some early stones coming. This is from Team Stefani. This one's going to be a little short. So I'm also going to be emailing my work, so I might not be immediately present for a few minutes while I get this urgent work task done. But please enjoy the curling while I enjoy my work. Looks like it's a pretty clean sheet so far. Another team has quite found the house. Actually, there's a rock in the back of the back line, not in the house. And this one's going to be a guard. That shot looks like they traded guards. So all 3 sheets for the tournament are in play tonight, and I will do my best to keep everyone updated as we go along as to the scores on the other sheets. The other games that we have in play, let me pull this up because I want to make sure I get it right. We have Stefani and Maxie on sheet 4, as we see. On sheet 5, we have Team Mendoza from the Hollywood Curling Club going up against Team McDonald from Coyotes, Wine Country, and Capital Curling. And then on sheet 6, we have Team Howells from Hollywood and Team Siggins from Coyotes. And Coyotes is in Tempe, just outside the fair city of Phoenix. Looking at our feature sheet game, it looks like Team Stefani has put up another guard. So Team Stefani is a 3-person team this weekend. And given the nature of the format where you have to alternate between the gender, either man, woman, or woman, man, in this case with 2 women and a man, it's a woman, man, woman setup. And so Stefani is throwing the second stones. Looks like it's going to be, I was going to say a smidge light. It's a little light, but the weight's pretty good. It taps the red up, but it looks like it puts that red in the position where Maxie can make a play on it. Nice shot coming for Team Maxie. That looks to be the vice skiff Michelle Wagner. So Team Maxie enters the game with a 2-0 record, while Team Stefani is looking for their first win after losing their first 2 games. So Stefani gets shoveled into the hatch. I think they want to take out that yellow that is in the top of the 12-foot. Or maybe they could be drawing around everything through the port. It's going to curl up, I think, just enough to be partially covered by the Yellowstones, although it is quite deep. So looking at the table, we have currently 6 teams in the tournament. We had more people signed up initially, but unfortunately because of what's been going on with the recent surge in COVID cases, several teams did have to step back, unfortunately. But we do have 6 teams in the field currently. The most of the games that people played is 3. And Team McDonald from Coyotes and other clubs is sitting with a 2-1 record. Maxie, as I mentioned before, is 2-0 so far. Mendoza is 1-1, as is Team Howells, both from Hollywood. And Team Stefani, as I mentioned, is looking for their first win. I do apologize for some of the jostling of the cameras. The cameras are on the floorboards, and when players step on the floorboards, it does tend to shake things up a little bit. Just like a Taylor Swift song. Shot coming for Team Maxie. Or no, it's Team Stefani, pardon me. Looks to be a little light, but it's not going to do damage. So it looks like Maxie is just in the 1. And they have 2 shots to try and change that number. This is the first shot coming from Fred Maxie. He is a 7-time Mixed Nationals participant and a 2016 champion. Sweepers are just kind of giving it an escort of honor down the sheet. It looks like the weights are pretty good. The sweepers are not touching it. It might be a touch heavy as Stefani jumps on it and sends it to the back. But it is enough to be second. So for Stefani, his team not having the hammer this end, I think wants to draw that port one more time and be in a position where Maxie can't make a play on it. And here we go. This is the last shot coming from the vice skip for Stefani, Aline Barbary. Looks like it's a little tight. It's going to wreck on the guard, but again, not do a lot of damage. I was worried it might be raised into the house, but it didn't go in there. So now Maxie is sitting 2, and I think they have a really solid shot for a triple here to open things up in the latest draw of the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns. I was thinking the event name sounds long, but if you said the full name of MoPac, it'd be the Mountain Pacific Curling Association Mixed Team Playdowns. And that'd just be silly. So here is Fred Maxie's last. It looks to be tight. Sweepers are going. That port is smaller than it was a couple shots ago. But it looks like it's by, so sweepers are off it. And it just basically needs to touch the full 8 foot to be good. And it is. It settles in the back of the 8. And that is a score of 3 to start things off. So Team Maxie opens with the 3. It's a 3-0 as Team Stefani will have the hammer in the second end as we continue with our coverage of the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns. It looks like the other sheets are still finishing their first end. I will update as soon as I know what's what. So I mentioned COVID earlier. It is still very much a thing. And as such, we are following several different COVID protocols here at the Southern California Curling Center. That includes wearing masks, maintaining social distancing where appropriate, and also people needed to show a recent negative test. This is the first shot from the lead for Team Maxie. That is Gabriel Coleman. She is returning to curling after a long break. She has lots of competitive curling under her belt from 2006 to 2014, including the 2009 Olympic trials. I believe she wrote a book about it. Here's the net shot coming from the lead for Team Stefani. That is Katie Feldman. She started curling in 2014 and has been the president of the Wine Country Curling Club outside of Sacramento since July 2016. And she was also half of the MoPac Mixed Doubles champion from 2019. The shot's a little heavy, but it's still going to be in play in the back of the house. However, it is, as I say, a tasty target for Coleman to go after. Sabres were on early. It looks like it's curling out. I think it's going to get some play. It does hit and it does roll out. So we are looking at an open house. Realtor's dream, I suppose, to have an open house. And let's see who's going to buy. Some of these metaphors don't make sense, but we're going to try them out as we go along. Here's the net shot from Feldman. So when a team is playing with 3 in a 4-person formats, they have to divide up the 8 stones. With 4 people, it's pretty easy. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Every player throws 2. With the 3 people, you divide 8 by 3. You did a fraction. You can't throw a fraction of a stone. They may have tried, but it's not legal. So what they do is that they have the first and second players throw 3 stones each, and then they have the skip throw the last 2. So that is 3 plus 3 plus 2, and that equals 8. So that is our math lesson for the day. Here's the shot coming down for, I want to say the second not Mike Rum. This is Dan Resch for Team Maxie. And that goes around the guards and settles in just behind the button, right down the center. And it looks like Stefani wants Feldman to follow that shot down. Super's on it. It looks like it might be over curling. It does wreck on the guard, but it does kind of open up a path. So looking at the adjacent sheets, the game between, as I pull up, I have to pull up this information. I wish I had everything memorized. So the game between, or look stuff up before I introduce stuff. The game between Mendoza and McDonald was a blank. And now you know. So Maxie has opted to draw, and it's going to settle in the top 12, providing some cover for the shot rock in the back 4. And then on sheet 6, I am not necessarily seeing a score post unless someone posted a really crooked number. That was also that was a blank. So we opened the game with 2 blanks on the neighboring sheets. Okay. And then the official scoreboard says that Maxie scored 2 in the first end, so I have updated the scores. And those will come back very shortly. So this shot from Stefani's coming down. It's going to wreck on the guard. So Maxie has the shot lined up for the vice, Michelle Wagner. She started curling 19 years ago and has participated in 8 qualifying national events, 2 non-qualifying events, and an Olympic trial. It doesn't say for which country. Let's say they just put up another guard down the middle just to protect the rocks that are in the house. You might be hearing some chairs scraping the floor. I just now thought it's like this SoCal Curling Center, home of the squeaky chair, which is not necessarily true. The Southern California Curling Center is a great facility as far as I've seen so far. The people here have been also very welcoming and working their darndest to make sure that everything is as best as it can be for this event. As we see the next shot coming from Stefani. Stefani. Looks like they got one of the yellows to go out of play. And just kind of move some stuff around in the house. Yellow is still sitting 2. And it's possible for Dan Stefani to raise one of their reds in the middle towards the shot rock in the house. So the situation on the center right is something that Maxie doesn't want to shake up. So he's looking on the left side of the sheet. Sweepers are going. It looks like it's going to be pretty close to on target. He wants to hit the top yellow and angle it towards the center. And pretty much mission accomplished as it touches the left edge of the button. So that looks like a well executed shot. So now for Dan Stefani, I think they might be looking at the raising one of their red guards towards the center of the house. They do have a hammer this end. And there's still at least 3 stones left per team. Well, sorry, Maxie has 2 left. But it seems like it's going to be difficult to get more than 1 point out of this. Although it's not going to be impossible. Here we go with Dan Stefani's last. So it's actually through the port. Wow. Through the port is going to tap one of the yellows a little further back. So tap the shot rock back, and now yellow is still shot as far as I can tell, but red is a very close second. So that was a great draw from Dan Stefani. So it looks like Fred Maxie wants to do a shot very similar to the last that his team threw kind of angle raise. I think a little bit more pace on the shot, a little bit more weight, and I think he wants to angle the yellow onto red. So we will see what happens. It's one of the great things about calling curling games. Like, we're just going to see what happens with the shot. So the weight looks pretty good. You need to make sure it curls up properly. It looks like it curl is good. And mission accomplished. Tap, tap, and the red goes to the back of the 8-foot. And so now yellow, Fred Maxie, is sitting 2. So for Team Stefani, they can try and draw that port again. And one of the advantages is if depending on where, if ideally we go through the port, but if they are a little off, they might be able to raise one of the reds towards the house. And this is the first of two rocks coming from the vice skip, Aline Barbary. She's curled for nearly 4 years with Wine Country Curling, including both team and doubles leagues. So it looks like he's going to make contact on that red, but it looks a little light. So it doesn't reach the house, but it does kind of open up that port on the right side. And so now after Maxie was looking at the left side of the sheet, now he's looking at the right side, just looking to see where to close off the paths to the button. And so if he puts it pretty high in the house, Stefani is not going to have a shot to get out of the end with a point. So it looks like they're going to do the draw and place a rock at the top of the house. A nice smooth release from Fred Maxie. Sweepers are cleaning now, they're going a little harder. It's definitely going to be close to where Fred Maxie wanted it. And it's going to settle in the top of the 8-foot. And so now Team Maxie is sitting 3 and is blocking most of the access to the center of the house. I think they're looking at a pretty tough draw. This is where the line and the weight has to be just right. And here we go with the last shot. It's Aline Barbary.
Yep. Are the girls getting tired? They're holding up. They're going on adrenaline.
So the weight's pretty good. It looks like it's a little wide. It's going to settle in the back of the house. But it looks like it might negate one of the yellow counters. So it looks to be a steal of 2, maybe 3 for Team Maxie. So we'll post the score as soon as we know when we get right back to the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns being hosted by the Southern California Curling Center here just south of downtown LA. Reminds me of that Randy Newman song about loving LA. You've got a friend in me. We'll be right back. Rocks in play, we're underway as Gabriel Coleman throws her first here in the third end. They have not posted the score yet. Looking at the adjacent sheets, that's the game between Team Mendoza of Hollywood and Team McDonald of Coyotes, Wine Country, and Capital. Looks like McDonald has opened up scoring with a deuce in the second. And that would be a steal. This rough's coming down from Katie Feldman. Looks a touch light. It's going to get over the hog line, I think. Oh, just short. And looking at sheet 6, the game between Team Howells and Team Siggins. Howells from Hollywood and Siggins from Coyotes. Howells opens up the scoring with a single in the second. So that is 1-0 Howells on sheet 6. Netstone coming for Team Maxie on our feature sheet. It looks like they are going to put up a guard in front of the shot rock right on the button. It's going to actually slip into the house. But it will provide some cover. But both of those stones are accessible by Team Stefani. But Stefani is ignoring that for now, wanting to hopefully start generating some offense. And that was a steal of 3 by Team Maxie. Well, this shot's going to get over the hog line. And it's going to be more of a center guard than a corner guard. However, Team Stefani wants to generate offense, so that's why they're putting up guards. The shot now coming from second Dan Baresh for Team Maxie. He was a member of 6 state championship teams in North Dakota and have played in 10 national championships, 4 mixed, 1 club, 4 senior, and 1 mixed doubles. He's played in 3 challenge round events in mixed doubles and men's qualifiers. But he notes that the pinnacle of his curling experience is having traveled 49,990 miles to Bonspiels with Michelle Wagner. And adding to that list was a guard. So now Stefani wants to, I think he wants to do a takeout. With the weight that it appears that Feldman threw, it looks like they are going for the takeout. They're going to get at least one. Indeed, and then the shooter is going to roll out of play. So I think that was a bit of a tricky situation for Team Stefani because they could maybe try to put up another guard to draw around at some point, but now there's only 1 guard left that Maxie can get rid of at some point, and then I think Maxie wants to put up another guard, which is what they're going for, as Fred Maxie himself goes out to help with the sweeping. It looks like it does look like a 3-hander, even though one of the other sweepers kind of waved him off. And so that is a center guard, pretty high. So now Team Stefani is talking things over. They could do another takeout in the house. And then they could maybe hit and roll under their cover on the left side on this view, or the right side on this view. The magic of camera angles. So I think that's what they dialed up. A plan would be, if it overcurls, is to tick the guard out of the way. Tick the yellow guard out of the way. Here is the shot coming now for Dan Stefani. So it hits their red guard out of the way. So I don't know if that was what they wanted. But now it looks like Maxie wants to just put up another guard or a biter at the top of the house and just really pile things up down the center for Michelle Wagner's shot. She notes, in addition to her records, more important than going to Nationals 10 times, the most important thing to her is since 2013, she has gone to 59 bonspiels with Dan Baresh. And so even with a 4-game minimum, that is 240 games or so of curling. That's a lot. And that sounds like a great time. That rut goes a touch deep, I would say. But now this it's not an ideal pocket because it's in front of the tee line. Ideal for Team Stefani. It's pretty good for Team Maxie. I think Stefani wants to basically just kind of clear those out, kind of hit it with enough energy to get both of those yellows moving out of the house, and that does reduce the counters. I think it makes it harder. I don't know what path they have to score more than one here, but it definitely makes it easier for them to score at least one. So it looks like it's maybe over curling a little bit. It's going to hit at least one of the yellows in the top of the scoring area. And it does crash on the high guard. So this is Michelle Wagner's last for the end. And basically, Fred Maxie just wants her to put up another yellow down the center to the top of the house or in the guard zone in front of the house. Looks like it's coming up a smidge light, but it's going to be a high guard, and I think it's definitely something that Team Maxie can use. So with 2 shots remaining for Team Stefani, I think they want to try that takeout again. I'm sorry, Stefani has 3 shots remaining in this end. Well, maybe more. No, they have 3. Keeping track of how many stones are in play is one of the fun things to do when you're looking so intensely at curling games such as this. So here we go. This is a chance to clean the house and hopefully turn things around in this end. So a little bit more ice this time. It's going to get around the high guard. It looks like it's going to get around the guard that's in the top of the house and make contact on those 2 yellows, get them out of the way, plus stick around under cover under the corner guard that was put into place a little earlier in the end. So that looks like a top shot from Dan and Stefani. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it does look like that rock is about 20 to 40% exposed, maybe more than half. But it looks like right now that Team Stefani was seeing a shot rock. So he's throwing a bit of energy at that. That was about a 9-second hog-to-hog time that I got with my stopwatch. You might hear the beeping going on. It does get rid of the red shot rock, and the shooter rolls out of play. And so now there's a couple of different paths for Stefani to consider. It does look like that he wants to draw around the center stones. So the line was pretty good. The weight is just a little up, and Feldman has stopped sweeping. I didn't stop timing in time. Weight was pretty good. Does settle behind the tee line to the back of the 4. Doesn't curl up as much as they had hoped, and it is exposed. So it looks like Fred Maxie just wants that red to go away. Looks like maybe a nose hit to stick around and sit 2. If they get a little bit of roll under the cover, it would make it a lot harder for Team Stefani to score in this end. And this is Fred Maxie's last shot here in the 3rd. Sweepers are going hard. It looks like it's going to actually crash on the yellow guard, but it might roll. It's going to roll through the house. So now Team Stefani is sitting 1, and they have a chance to get 2 to kind of claw their way back into this game. So they need to make sure it doesn't over curl, and it doesn't look like it's going to. It looks like it might be just a smidge heavy, so it needs to sit down, needs to slow. It's going to hit on their red and actually hit their shot rock red to the back of the 12. And it looks like it's just going to be the 1 for Team Stefani. But they are going to be on the board with a score of 5-1 in favor of Team Maxie as we head into the 4th here at the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns from the Southern California Curling Center. Live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help getting a club started in your community. Looking at some of the action on the adjacent sheets. That's the game between Team Mendoza and McDonald. It looks like McDonald has stolen 3 in the 3rd, and they are now 5-0 over Team Mendoza. And then on sheet 6, the game between Team Howells of Hollywood and Team Sidians of Coyotes. And it looks like Team Sidians has put up a 3 spot. So they're up 3-1 in the 4th. Back here in our feature sheets, Team Stefani put up a middle guard down the center. And it looks like Team Maxie wants to draw around. As Coleman threw what's called an intern. And for people that may not know, the intern and outturn it's the rotation you put on the stone, and the intern outturn is kind of one way to keep it in mind is if you want to throw an outturn, you picture kind of the outer part of your elbow twisting counterclockwise, and then this is if you're right-handed. If you want to do the intern, you picture kind of the inside part of your elbow twisting in clockwise to accomplish the clockwise rotation. So that's the in and the out turn, and that's the ins and outs of the rotation. This shot has a guard. It just kind of starts to pile those up a little bit, just to the left of center. And it looks like Maxie wants to draw around that double guard down the middle. As Gabriel Coleman shot's underway. Weight looks pretty good. The line is pretty solid. Sweepers are cleaning now. Now they're putting a little bit more elbow grease into it. So around the guards is going to be in the top 12. And from this view, it is pretty buried. So it looks like Stefani wants to do a hit and roll. And here comes the next shot from Katie Feldman. So she notes in her bio that when she's not going to all the bond spills that she can or curling in all the leaves that one country offers, doubles is her favorite. Then she's blasting Taylor Swift as she commutes from one end of Sacramento to the other. And it looks like the shot was a little wide and didn't make contact. So it looks like Fred Maxie wants to try drawing on the other side of the sheet on the left. As Dan Barrett's shot is underway. It looks a little wide. Sweepers trying to hold the line. Well, it's definitely around those guards. It's going to be a touch light. It's going to bite the edge of the 12-foot. So Team Maxie does have the hammer in this end. And they are sitting 3. So for Team Stefani, as Dan Stefani settles into the hat, it looks like they want to maybe try that hit and roll. His shot's underway. Feldman's walking with it, not letting it room. Looks like it's curling up pretty nicely as they watch it go down the ice. It looks like it might need to. Looks like it didn't curl up enough, unfortunately. So it turned into a nose hit. They are sitting shot, but they are exposed. And that is a tasty target that Team Maxie is going to waste no time going after. And that's another nose hit. Kind of moving the rocks closer to the center of the button. So the hit and roll is still there. And actually, like with the way the hits they've been trading back and forth, a good roll from Team Stefani will be in a really excellent position. So Feldman was cleaning the glide path as Skip cleaned his rock, I believe. Keeping the rock surface and the ice surface clean is good curling protocol because you don't want the rock to hit anything on the ice. It's bad. So this one's going to curl up a little bit more than last time and get that gentle roll that I was thinking they needed. And well done by Dan Stefani. They are sitting shot rock, well protected. As you can see, there's 4 stones guarding that shot rock. And it looks like Maxie wants to kind of blast some of those guards out of the way. So got rid of one, and they drove the other red back towards the top of the house. Although the top of that red did not enter the house, as far as I can tell. And now there's just 2 yellows guarding that shot rock. And I think Stefani wants to try that same shot again. Maybe just a smidge less ice to provide a little bit more cover for that shot rock. So Stefani gets set, and here we go with his last. Feldman's just escorting it down, just like a friendly bouncer. And actually, it's going to overcurl and wreck on the yellow and drive the yellow back onto the red. So now it's Maxie that appears to be shot. So unfortunately, I would count that as a miss. So Fred Massey's kind of looking these over. There's looks like he's looking at trying to clear some of those reds that are in the top of the house, or the red, and I guess there might be a yellow there, I believe. Yeah, there's a red, yellow. So it looks like it's going to kind of run right into that pocket. I gets rid of one of the reds, and the shooter rolls actually between the other 2 stones that were in the top of the house and settles in at the top of the 12 on the left. So now for Stefani, it's I would maybe think to look to maybe just you may want to steal this end, but you also don't want to give up multiple points. So it looks like he's dialing up a draw tap to unlock those 2 center stones on the button. And this is the first rock coming from vice skip Eileen Barbary. Sounds like this rock needs to curl. And it is wide. And it looks to be maybe a smidge heavier than Barbary's thrown so far this game. But it does unlock the 2 center stones. And now there's a potential possibility for Stefani to maybe tap out that yellow shot stone and set up a tricky situation for Maxie to finish the end. However, there's a bit of a pocket, and I think there's a bit of a pocket, but he doesn't want to hit his stone out. So it looks like he's positioning the broom on the right side of the red stone on the right, and like a nose hit would be pretty good. Although, like, maybe you would maybe want it to roll the shooter towards the button and tap that yellow onto the red that's in the back. So red onto yellow, yellow onto red, and that would make it hard for Stefani to get some of these yellow stones out of play. Here we go with Fred Maxie's last. Oh no, his first. I apologize. So it's going to hit the red on the outside, the right outside. Okay. That looks pretty good. So I was thinking it was going to go red onto yellow onto red. And it was actually red onto red, and the yellow is yellow's still shot, but that yellow has some good cover or good protection with that red right behind it. So this is Barbary's last. And I think they want to, I think they maybe want to like kind of chip that yellow out of the way. And it doesn't quite do it. So it looks like Maxie's going to do kind of a heavy draw, or maybe just a regular draw. The right side of the button is wide open, so he could draw in, and if he sits right on the button, he would get 2. And there's a little bit of backing, a slight bit of backing with that red in the back of the forefoot. But here we go with the hammer, Fred Maxie. Sweepers are going. Now they're just cleaning. So it's curling up pretty nicely. It needs to sit down. Stefani's going to take over sweeping, and it's going to curl too far and just be a 1 point for Team Maxie. So it is going to be 6-1 as we take a 5-minute break, and we'll resume with the 5th end in about 5 minutes. Before I take my break, I'm going to update the scores on the neighboring sheets as they were both in their fourth end break. So on sheet 5, the teams got off to the ice without telling me what the score is. Not good for them. No. Before they went into the fourth end break, after 3, it was a 5-0 Team McDonald of Coyotes and other clubs top Team Mendoza from. And then on sheet 6, the game between been mostly Team Sigan so far. Scored 3. He stole 3 in the 6-1 over Team Howells. So we're gonna take just a couple minutes, and we'll be right back as our coverage continues from the 2022 MoPac mixed playdowns from the Southern California Curling Center. And we are about to get started here in the fifth ends. The game between Team Maxie, the yellow team, versus Team Stefani, the red team. As Gabriel Coleman for Team Maxie is about to deliver her first rock to the end. The mixed team format is a 4-person format, and it's very similar to what the regular 4-person game is. It's just the genders that are involved, and that both genders are involved. But otherwise, each team throws 8 rocks, and normally in 4-person competitions at a high level, the games are 10 ends apiece. In the case of mixed teams, it's not that; they are 8 ends, which is why we took a half-time break after 4 ends as opposed to 5. So Feldman's shot looks like they wanted to do a corner guard. And it's going to be in the corner, but it looks like it might be biting the edge of the house, which means Team Maxie can make a play on it, and they aim to. And it looks like it's on target. It's going to hit and probably roll a little bit to the right. It's going to actually roll through the house, out of play. I'm back. I stepped away briefly to figure out what was going on with the sheet on the middle sheet, as it's known. And it looks like they decided to call it an early night. And that was the game between Team Mendoza and Team McDonald. Looks like Team Mendoza shook hands at the half. They shook hands half as McDonald stole one in the 4th. It was a 6-0 final, unfortunately, for Team Mendoza. But congratulations to Team McDonald. I think they are 3-1 on the tournament. Back on our feature sheets, it looks like Maxie is again pressing, sitting 2 in the house, while Team Stefani has 1 on the outer edge of the left 12-foot. So it looks like he cleared the guard, and the yellow rolled to the right to create a guard of their own, even though it doesn't appear to be guarding much. Might be kind of guarding the yellow on the right side. So Team Stefani is looking these over. It looks like I think they maybe want to try and hit and roll. From this view, have the stone curl toward the right, past the center of the yellow stone, and hit the yellow on the right side and roll toward the right under the cover of the red. There can also be a thin double there, depending on where he hits that yellow on the left side from this view. So rock's underway. Katie Feldman's just walking down. Now she's going. Looks like it's curling up. It looked like it curled up pretty nicely, although it didn't roll. It was just a nose hit. And it looks like Fred Maxie just wants his second Dan Baresh to remove it. And mission accomplished again. He gets a bit of a roll towards the left side. So he does split the house and is sitting a first and second shot, while Team Stefani has the third with that red in the top left of the 12-foot. So Team Stefani does have the hammer this end. And ideally you would try and score multiple points. And looking to see how they might be able to accomplish that. I think if they tap the red back onto the yellow, that might help kind of start putting more reds into the house and making it easier to score multiple points. But Dan Stefani's shot's underway. Looks like it's, I think, a little wide. Okay, so he went towards the center. I thought he was going to go towards the edge. And so now there's that tasty target for Michelle Wagner to take advantage of. And mission accomplished again. The shooter doesn't stick around, but it doesn't need to. And so now basically, Dan Stefani is kind of in the same situation he was in a rock ago. I think they want to maybe try and go towards the left, towards the outer edge of the ring this time. Among some of his notes, it says that he participated in several MoPac 5 and under events, finishing runner-up in the A bracket playing Vice. When not playing regular 4-player games, he also really enjoys playing doubles curling. And then as an interesting fact, Dan does not follow or play typical sports, but only finds interest in obscure sports like curling, CrossFit, disc golf, food competition shows, etc. Okay, so he again was going towards the center, and I think he wanted to go towards the yellow, but this time it was heavy, and he was going to go out of play. So it makes a certain amount of sense to try and make a play on that shot rock, because at some point you're going to have to move it out of the way in order to score multiple points. I just don't know if he needed to do that at this point in the end. But also, I'm not on the ice, so I don't know. But now that they've thrown that shot twice, Fred Maxie just kind of needs to close the door and block that path, and then Stephanie's going to have to look at another option. So his shot's coming down. Looks like it's going to be either a tight guard or touching the top of the house. It's a fairly tight guard. So one element of curling strategy that I was kind of thinking about is that when you're curling, especially when you start out, especially skipping or calling the game, is that you kind of want to remove the opponent's shot rock because you want to be shot rock. You want to count. The advice is to make sure that you are the shot rocked at the very end of the end, and so it might not necessarily make the most sense to get rid of a shot rock in the middle of the end because you ultimately need to be shot rocked at the very last. And I'm not saying that's necessarily what was going on here. It's just that's what it reminded me of in terms of curling strategy. And this shot from, I think that was, one second. That was the first rock from the vice skip Eileen Barbary. So it looks like Fred Maxie is kind of soliciting advice from his front end on what shot to play. Maybe what's visible, what different paths to the house that the front end can see from our angle, about 140 feet down the ice. So it looks like he wants to, I would think a guard, or I think a guard. I think that he wants the guard to just make it harder for Team Stefani to raise one of the reds into the house. So pretty nice, smooth release from Fred Maxie. Looks like he threw a little bit more pace than I was thinking. And it's actually going to hit the yellow and move the yellow towards the house. So it looks like a pretty good shot from Fred Maxie. There's not... that red I was thinking that Team Stefani can make a play on earlier in the end is not there at all. And so now it's essentially a draw for one. And here is Eileen's shot. Katie Feldman sweeping early on the stone. Calls out for help, it sounds like, and Stefani comes out to lend a hand. It needs to get there. It looks like it's going to be a bit light as it slows down into the middle guard area. And it's going to be a steal at 2 for Fred Maxie. As we roll on, it's for Team Maxie 8 and Mr. Team Dan Stefani 1. And then looking at the other sheets, Again, the sheet next to us, the game between Mendoza and McDonald ended early with all McDonald's in terms of the scoring. And they ended after 4. And then on sheet 6, the game between Team Howells of Hollywood and Team Citizens of Coyotes, they are now solidly into the 6th end. Solidly in the 6th end, but they haven't to the score yet, so we'll find out in a moment. Oh, wait. It's like Howells scored a single in the 5th. Resuming play here on our feature sheet. It looks like a Team Maxie has thrown into the top of the house. Maybe a guard. It could be biting, but it looks like Team Stefani wants to tap it out, although maybe also set up a corner guard. And it's now shaping up to be a corner guard. Okay, so now I can see that the Maxie rock was also a guard. And this is the net shot coming from Coleman. And I think they would want to draw around that guard that Gabriel Coleman threw in as her first. Okay, so they actually ticked the red guard, and now the red guard is biting the top edge of the left 12-foot. And Dan Stefani is surveying the field, and it looks like he wants Katie Feldman to draw around. So the shot is, the weight was pretty close, and it's finishing pretty nicely, but it wasn't curling up at first.
You like this and you like this.
And this the shot coming out from Dan Baresh. And it looks like he's going to just take out that red that was just thrown. We do have a triple header again set for Saturday, all morning and all day. All day and all of the night. So we're going to get started at around 9:30 with our first game, and the second game will start at around 2:30, and the nightcap will be at 7:30. And we'll have all the games that we'll have a feature sheet game from every draw on our YouTube channel. We can move the cameras around, but I'm leaning towards making our first game in the morning a matchup between Team Siggins of Coyotes and Team Mendoza of Hollywood. Should be a good match, and that will be at 9:30 a.m. on our YouTube channel, coming from the Southern California Curling Center. So Baresh threw another takeout. This broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. However, if you wanted to draw many streams of lights and do an interactive light show featuring this game, we'll probably say yes. So Dan Stefani gets settled into the hat. I think they're going to try and draw around again. Weight looks pretty good. Eileen Barbary is not sweeping it, so it might be a touch heavy. And Fred Maxie is going after it now, as opponents can do once the stone crosses the tee line or touches the tee line, and it goes out of play. So it looks like the first rock coming from Vice Skip Michelle Wagner for Team Maxie. And it just takes out that red rock that was biting the 12-foot, and the shoe will roll through the cover and settle on the right edge of the 4-foot. So that changes things a little bit for Dan and Stefani, and I think they want to now try a hit and roll on the right side of the sheet from our view. It's a different line than what he's been throwing. But it looks like he has a decent amount to get to it. I don't know if it's going to curl up enough for it to roll. I would ideally kind of roll under the yellows, but if it rolls to the right side from our view, that's not bad, as long as it stays in play. So now it needs to curl up. It's curling up. It's going to tap the yellow back to the 12. And that yellow's going to hang around, and the red is now on the right edge of the 4, crossing into the 8-foot. And so Maxie is going to go after that. This is Wagner's last. So it's going to be a nose hit, roll a little towards the center. And so now that hit and roll is more likely for Team Stefani to try, although they're looking at the left side now, the right side from our view. I'm not entirely sure what they might want to try and do here, unless they want to try and draw around again. They could have been thinking about clearing those center guards. But again, you want to try and see how you might be able to get more than 1 point out of this end. So it looks like that they are going to try the draw again. Draw like on the left side and curl towards the center under the cover. The way those guards are staggered makes it hard to take those guards out. So I think that's kind of what they're banking on. And this is Dan Stefani's last here in the 6th. Katie Feldman sweeping. The weight looks pretty good. Maybe, I think the weight's almost there as Katie Feldman lays off. It needs to curl a little bit more. And I don't think it curled up enough. As Fred Maxie puts the broom down to take out that red. Just looking at where things are situated, I think it would be optimal for them to have a little bit of a roll under the center yellow guards. But if they make the red just go away, that's pretty much a win, I would say, in their book. The only worst case scenario is possibly jamming the red on there's a yellow in the back 12. But here is the first of 2 stones coming from Fred Maxie. So it does hit and it does roll towards the center. I mean, it rolls towards the left. I apologize. It looks like the other games are off the ice. As I noted previously, the middle sheet game between Team Mendoza and Team McDonald ended early. And it looks like Howells and Siggins are also off the ice. So with the first of 2 the final set of stones from Eileen Barbary, it basically went down the left side and didn't curl up, so it is exposed. And again, Maxie is going to probably throw the same type of shot. Maybe if he does get that roll, maybe roll to the right this time. But that is a lot of yellow in the house. So the shot's underway. Looks like it's going to hit on the left side again. But again, and that red goes out of play, and the yellow rolls to the left. So now it is Maxie sitting for Eileen Barbary to throw the last rock for Team Stefani. And she just threw the shot, so to draw toward the button for 1. Katie Feldman sweeping. The weight looks pretty good. It needs to touch the 4-foot, to be close to the full 4-foot. Maxie's vice was sweeping it, and it's going to be pretty close. But I think they were indicating it might be 1 yellow, if I were to guess. But in any case, that is enough for Team Dan Stefani as they exchange expressions of gratitude, to steal a phrase from John Colin, a curling commentator / comedian / all around seems to be a decent guy. So we're going to call it an early night here at the Southern California Curling Center. Just again to recap the scores. On sheet 5, the game between Team that was a score of 6-0 after 4. On sheets.
Like 20 minutes. LA close.
It was 11-2. So, 5 in the, in the 6th.
I'm good, thank you.
And then on our feature sheets, to wrap things up, the game between Team Stefani of Wine Country Curling Club and Team Maxie of Coyotes and more. Coyotes, Silicon Valley, and Capital Curling Club. That game, so you get wrapped up either a 9-2 or 9-1 or 8-2. But in any case, that was enough for Team Stefani. So that's going to wrap things up for tonight. Calling it an early night, maybe just some late night eats from Los Angeles. We're happy that you tuned in. We are going to be back on the air at 9:30 a.m. with a game between Team Siggins of Coyotes Curling Club versus Team Mendoza of Hollywood. We definitely hope you'll tune in on the MoPac YouTube page. So for all of us here at MoPac and the Southern California Curling Center, this has been your announcer Ryan saying good night and good curling.